just a whole all-encompassing content empire, I guess. I don't know exactly what my goals are, but yeah, I do know. But anyways, today I am joined by Apestyles, aka Jonathan Van Fleet. My name is Blythe, aka BGP, aka Bluegrass Poker on Twitch. If you don't know who Jonathan Van Fleet is, you probably don't watch poker or pay attention to it. But just for everybody who doesn't know, he's a online tournament crusher over the last long while, since tournaments have really been growing and expanding over the last 20 years or so, I'd say.
Hey, I gotta ask. I'm sorry to cut you off though.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I started playing poker like professionally probably like around when you were 3. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm a part of the next generation, so to speak. Hopefully. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm joined by Jonathan Van Fleet. He's streaming on Twitch now. Twitch.tv/Apestyles. It's just Apestyles or Apestyles Poker.
Apestyles Poker.
Apestyles Poker.
Yeah, somebody already had Apestyles. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, so you've got what, 17 million in online tournament winnings from what I have in my notes, give or take.
Yeah, it's probably actually a little bit more than that. As far like, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to but
This is just the pocket fives.
I've been playing so long that they don't have Paradise Poker Days. They don't have my first party poker, even my like early Poker Star stuff. But yeah, I'm a grandpa. Like, I don't even know what Google Meet is. I like when you were like, "Oh yeah, look at your Google Meet." I had like it took me 5 minutes to try to find it. So, yeah, I'm a boomer.
Yeah, I was going to do Zoom, but when I was trying to schedule the meeting, it said there was like you had to pay if you wanted to do a meeting longer than 40 minutes. And as a broke college student, I was like, nah, I will not be paying to do this meeting. I don't have that kind of that money to spare for like the monthly plan or whatever the plans were. I was like, no, it's not in my budget right now. One thing I wanted to ask you about at the start, I was doing some research looking at your Pocket Fives bio, and you said your hobbies included chess, yoga, reading, bear wrestling, and lifting heavy things. What made you decide to put bear wrestling in there? Is there a story behind that?
Growing up, I had a little tiny bear in the backyard, and I learned wrestling from the little tiny baby bear. No, that's entirely not true. but I don't know what I think I had just seen. There's a wrestler, like actually he's like the #1 pound for pound right now, I think, who grew up wrestling bears as a kid, and like it was literally like a thing in Russia, like, and I don't know, I thought that was interesting. Just like a bear wrestling, five truths and a lie. But yeah.
That's awesome. And the other thing you had on there was your favorite cash game was 50 cent a dollar triple draw, and your favorite tournament game was Stud MTT's $10 and under. Are we gonna see any of those on stream?
I think. Okay, so that's funny. My P5's profile, I filled it out for the first time like 17, 18 years. It was 2005 actually. It was 15 years ago. No, 16. And yeah, I put my name as Cornelius, and and I put all this random stuff, and I don't know, I just did that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't change it from Cornelius in the beginning, and this guy came up to me the first World Series, and he was like, Cornelius. Yeah. Oh man, that's not my name, dude. But yeah.
But you still remembered, like, oh yeah, like I'm Cornelius, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that was because a couple of people had been like, "Is that your real name?" And I was like, "No." For some reason, I just liked the name Cornelius. I thought it was funny, so I went with it.
That's awesome. Oh man, yeah, that was just, I saw that and I thought or just in the pocket fives, I was like, there's got to be something there. Oh, there's some kind of story.
Yeah, I just haven't changed it from literally when I first signed up. I did that.
But I'm just curious. Do you play mixed games? Have you played like triple draw or stud
No,
MTTs? Never.
that's well, yeah, I did because I like back in the day, I used to think that I was like smart, so that I could just like learn it on the fly and like, and I kind of could, but no, I was a fish in those games for sure. I hadn't studied them enough, and I didn't have the patience to study them. And the thing is, with solvers and everything, No Limit just kind of opened up as far as like how deep you can go into it.
Right.
So especially tournament poker, because there's independent chip modeling stuff and all that like I just can't help myself but put all my energy into that because that's what I'm already good at.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually been kind of weird because chess is blowing up right now.
Right.
And everyone's like, you're a chess player, like you should stream, and I'm like, man, like I move pieces around fast, like I've got like, yeah, my rating is pretty good because I play like this sort of like really attacky style of poker, but it's I'm of chess, but like I streamed chess one time and I felt so different than I do when I play poker. Because in poker, I know what I'm doing pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and even if I'm playing for $25,000 or whatever, I know what I'm doing. Chess, I'm playing against someone who's like 200 points higher than me. Like I'm rated around 2,000, and in this moment, and probably more like 1,900. And I just got smashed playing live, and everyone was like, "Whoa, you completely lost your poker face." You were like, I was super stressed about it.
Yeah.
I was like more stressed about chess than I am about poker, and that's because I think that my mental game training is poker specific, not chess. Like, so
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. I know. I've noticed too. I play chess. I'm not nearly. I'm like 700 rated or something. Like it's just kind of like a hobby I've kind of picked up lately. But I've noticed like when I'm playing chess versus poker, I get way more tilted when I play chess, just because like you make a mistake and it's obvious, and then that mistake is just it destroys the game. Like if you make like one mistake in a hand of poker, like next hand's dealt, and you just kind of have like, well, in tournaments, like I guess it's a little bit different. I've been playing cash games a lot lately, but like even in tournaments though, it's like, okay, I still have 40 big blinds, even though I just dusted off like 50 bigs right here in this spot. Like it's fine, I can still spin it back up. But in chess, I'm like, I blundered that piece, it's bothering me, I don't know what I'm doing.
That actually makes sense, because like in chess, when you make a mistake, it's like it just it makes the whole game ruined.
Yeah.
Poker, you're like, okay, well, I screwed up, let's move on. It's fine.
Right.
Although I've had some brutal poker hands that have like really stuck with me. Like recently, the $25,000 buy-in right on the pure bubble. I had been looking at these sims for like even stack bubble play versus wide opening ranges. Anyway, I got it in a spot. There was a player with one big blind that I was unaware of, that I would have been aware of if I wasn't streaming. Right, I had the tables up and everything. I just having everything going on in the moment. I know for a fact that I would have seen that otherwise. And I punted. I reshoved like pocket twos versus the small blind and got it in versus queens and pure bubbled in a 25 table. First, we're just moneying was like $60,000, right?
Yeah.
that one, and then I looked it up afterwards, and it like for sure is a mistake.
Right.
It was a huge mistake.
Right.
With the guy with one big blind, he's basically just out.
How deep were you at the spot in that spot?
Like 37 bigs. They 4x from small blind.
Okay.
And I had been looking at like a lot of they had just 4-bet shoved, like 3-bet raised and 4-bet shoved with Jack 2 suited versus me, and we're playing super aggro. Like,
okay. Sorry, that's my roommate. College living right now.
No, you're fine, man. I lived in the dorms too.
Yeah. You know how it is. So that's kind of like an interesting. So I've been. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself, just so you know where I'm at, like in poker, while you're talking. So like you know, I don't know if you want to over-explain stuff, but I've been playing. For a little over a year. I don't have that much experience, but I've been, trying to study the game, get better. I started playing like cash games like a lot of people, and then when COVID hit about a year ago, I think to this date was when I was sent home from college. I I got really bored during my classes that were on Zoom, and I started playing sit and goes on when I was in class. I know
Wow.
my parents are watching right now, and they're probably not going to be happy to hear about that. But yeah, so I started playing sit and goes in class, and then I started playing MTTs a lot then, and went through playing MTTs till I went back to school
Hmm.
last fall, and then I kind of realized I don't have time to sit down and play like an MTT schedule and balance my classes. So I started playing cash games again, and I still play MTTs from time to time. But yeah, I've been trying to study, trying to get better,
Hmm.
doing all that stuff.
Cash games. So, yeah, I think cash games and sit and goes make sense for people that can't sit for long periods of time.
Hmm.
I also found poker when I was in college,
Hmm.
and I have to admit that my grades went from like straight A's to like B's and like one C, and it was literally because one of like I would have had a B or an A in this one class, but I got a zero on participation because I would always fall asleep in class.
Hmm.
And I actually recently wrote her an apology letter because she was someone that I liked a lot, and I didn't realize how disrespected she felt about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, I've done like the point is that like it is hard to do both, especially MTTs.
Yeah.
Staying up all night and then coming into class is what I was trying to do, and it didn't work that well.
No.
I did end up graduating with a psych degree, which basically you can't do anything with, but like, which qualified me for playing poker.
Yeah.
And I but yeah, it can get in the way of school, like for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that like and part of the problem too was I would really only play like Sundays and like the odd like Tuesdays if I didn't have any work because
Hmm.
I knew I didn't have class on Wednesdays last semester like early in the morning, and I
Hmm.
just wasn't putting in volume, so the variance was like brutal to a
So I want to
point.
ask you though,
Yeah.
like when you're playing cash and like you have a couple of coolers or whatever, like
Hmm.
do you stop or do you try to win it back?
um I don't really try to win. So the first time I streamed, I got it in pre with aces twice and lost, and I kind of gotten to a point where I'm fine with it. Like I
Hmm.
accept that what's gonna happen. Like I've really kind of I don't like grind it back or like immediately stop. Like I know I'm going to play for like a certain amount of hours, and
That's fine.
I want to keep playing like for that time. But and then I'll
Hmm.
make changes judging by my mental state. So like if I'm down like a lot, like I just kind of like I hope I can get it back, but
Of
I
course.
don't really think that I'm trying to get it back when I'm like, there was one Tuesday a few weeks ago where I was sitting down and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play like 5 hours of cash, and I sat down and I spent 2 hours sitting there, and then I realized that my mind, I'm also a musician, and I
Hmm.
like playing music. In my mind, I was just thinking about music the entire time. Like I was just thinking
Hmm.
about different songs that I was like, working on, and I was like, I can't sit here and keep playing poker. Like I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. So
Hmm.
that's kind of like where I judge like what I'm doing. Like I'll notice
Hmm.
like where my mind's like drifting, and with the coolers and stuff, like I'll probably end up making more mistakes and maybe not necessarily uh, ending up in those bad beat situations, but
Hmm.
uh,
I think that so like the other day I was doing a someone asked me to participate in. I just say yes to things because like it's gotten me where I am. So someone asked me to participate in some kind of college study about tilt, and I think I probably messed their study up because they asked me how many times like a session I tilt, and I think that a lot of unaware people think that they don't tilt at all,
hmm.
because they don't do something like raging or do like just go all in every hand. Like that's like monkey tilt, like and actually I don't even want to call it that because like I don't do that ever,
Yeah.
right? um but I do notice the more that I'm aware of my thought process while I'm playing, I do notice subtle tilt. um Somebody coming after me or holding over me, definitely there's a desire to get back at them. I like see it rein it in, but like I can see like little things happening,
Mm-hmm.
and so like I said that I get tilted like subtly, like in a lot of different ways when I play. But I think people who aren't aware of that think that they never tilt because they don't go crazy. I
Right.
don't tilt in obvious ways, but I tilt in, I think, in subtle ways. The other thing I was going to ask though, you actually, the question I asked you,
Yeah. Sorry.
it's funny because you kind of were like no, but the thing is you answered it well enough to make it sound like you actually have um a good mental game, or at least a good start for a mental game, where you're watching how you're thinking. And I think that idea of having a time that you're going to play, win or lose, not a clear stop loss, because like if you're playing fine and like and you're going to play this amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
keep playing, right?
Yeah.
If you think if your thought process is good, I think that's what would screw me up in cash games. That's why I actually couldn't play cash games,
Yeah.
is that I have that problem. I had a really hard time accepting losing.
Mm-hmm.
In MTTs though, I'm like, listen, it's one of 500 people to win this thing. Like you're gonna lose most days. So I think MTTs I was able to get around my addictive nature. I'm a fish, man. Like my nature when I first came into the game was very gambly, very fishy.
Yeah.
And I think how I was able to be successful in the game was that I found people who were putting a structure to the game, of study, as well as keeping track of your wins and making sure that all the bets that you're placing are good, that you're playing in good fields, etc. And then MTTs sort of naturally gave me that hour thing where I just like, okay, I'm going to play this set of MTTs, whether I win or lose, and then I'm on. Cash though, when I played that for a little bit, I would keep playing, and then it would kind of, especially heads up, it would really take over
Yeah.
for me. I don't know if it would do that as much anymore. I feel like I have a lot less ego than I did back then. But I do have an addictive tendency, so I have to watch out with games other than MTTs, because MTTs work for me.
Yeah, I know you've talked a little bit on stream and stuff about your struggles with addiction. You've talked about it a lot. We don't really need to go over all of that unless you really want
Mm-mm.
to. Like, because people can go look at other podcasts. There's John's got great interviews and he's got stuff. Watch him on stream. He'll talk about it from time to time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that for me, like, it's actually kind of weird. Like, I don't want that to be my brand.
No.
It's not like,
Yeah.
like it's not. It's my story, and like I don't make that like. And people are like, "Yo, man, I'm just like you. I use drugs really heavily too. Teach me how to play poker." And I'm like, "Yo, man, like no, like maybe get some help on your problem." Like I'm successful in spite of those problems, right? It is not. I do not recommend people that have addictive tendencies get into poker or gambling in general. I think that my story is more an exception. I'm more an outlier, like in a lot of ways.
Totally. What I did want to ask you though, shoot, oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. It was oh man, something about MTTs. I lost it. It was in like the back of my mind. Oh, what I was gonna ask you about though was people who are starting to learn the game nowadays. It's obviously a lot different from how you started when you were learning for like the first however many years. I don't know exactly when the first solvers came onto the market, but one thing that I've found interesting is a lot of people online like have this debate, like for cash or MTTs, I guess they'll just be like, people in playing this stake should not use solvers because people are not playing GTO or something like that. And then some other people are like, no, you should really learn how to play game theory optimal because it's going to help you understand strategy. So I just want to know, do you think, like, not necessarily cash or MTTs, or maybe just in general, when do you think people who are playing lower stakes should use solvers or try to learn from solvers?
And the short answer, yes, but I'd like to give a clear answer as to why I think that's the case.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people mistakenly think that if you're using solvers that you're trying to play like them, or that you need to be balanced when it comes to, versus, poker dude 6'9" or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be. And like, there are a lot of spots where the population big time overfolds. The reason why that you use solvers, though, is that it's actually an exploitation machine. Like, the nature of what solvers are is one side starts with one strategy, then the next side readjusts back and forth until they arrive at equilibrium, right?
Right.
But what you can do for solvers is you can also node lock, or you can adjust to what you think they're doing, and then it'll show you how best to play, right? So even like no, you're not supposed to like try to play like a solver, but you can still use a solver to figure out how to best exploit people. And most of what I have done with solver work is to understand general concepts and spots in a holistic way. And solvers are helpful for that. Now, I wouldn't recommend people just hit them on their own, though. Like, I recommend people like do it along with instruction, like my course, the bundle. I think you need help. Like, I started trying to interpret the results of solvers in 2013 when I was in a study group with Stephen Chadwick and some other people, and Stephen Chadwick, Elio Fox, like a lot of big names actually, and Daniel DeBois, like, but like, man, I wish I had studied harder in that group, because we ended up stopping because they were working and I wasn't like working that hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me. It was a lot of people weren't working that hard. But anyway, when we first started that group, we were all just trying to figure out, because a lot of this stuff was different than we were expecting. And so
Yeah.
we were like, and figuring out the combo stuff and all that, like, yeah, it's not easy. And we had like the best poker minds, and it was still pretty hard to come up with general heuristics. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of the things that you see these days and the things that I do came from that, and then other study, etc.
Yeah, I know. It's probably like I've done. I've watched a few people using solvers and whatnot, like in training content or whatever, and some like watching them explain it, like definitely is the way to go, because they just give the right takeaways from solvers. Other than like, some people obviously misuse them, and they'll just be like, oh, you see, look, I had jacks this hand, and it says I'm supposed to be betting jacks on this river, so I was right. And even though like that's not really what you should be learning, you shouldn't be learning about how your jacks are playing. There, you got to learn how your range is playing, and like,
yeah,
all that
absolutely.
stuff.
Well, I think though that you can ask a question like, for instance, is this a value bet on the river with my hand? Do I have enough equity in position? Like, and sometimes, like, for instance, you can learn a lot from solvers if you look at the equity parts and like what they're betting based on their equity on the river. And but yeah, usually I go in with questions, and then along with those questions, having you have to have a hypothesis.
Right.
Like, you have to be like, I think this is what it's going to be for this reason. And then if it's not, you can be like, okay, let's explore why it's not. Right. So, yeah.
My dad's in chat. He said, "This is your father watching. Yes, no bueno on the playing poker while in class." Thanks,
Man.
Dad.
Oh, man. Especially if he's paying for it.
I got great grades that semester. I did in those classes where I was playing. I still got. I think I got 1B that semester. So that it's fine. Water under the bridge, I guess. But and I'm not playing poker in class anymore. No,
By the way, it's not on you to say water under the bridge, bud. You're in hot water.
I'm in hot water under the bridge. Yeah. Yeah. No. I try to balance my my life. I guess that can lead us into another thing. How did you I assume in the start you really weren't balancing poker and life well. Like you said, you were sleeping and going to class. But like now is a struggle for me, at least. I've tried to balance poker in my life like a lot. I've been trying to balance poker in my life a lot better, because I want to play poker a lot, but I also like have schoolwork that I'm doing and stuff like that. So how have you found like ways that you've been able to balance poker and life?
See, the reason I'm sighing
Yeah, it is a lot different for you because you're a professional. Like, it's your job, and I'm a student. Like, I am trying to get a degree as well. So I guess there is like a little bit of difference there.
I'm trying to find some because like I threw myself into it with a passion that ended up meaning that I didn't graduate like magna cum laude or something. Like I would
Hmm.
have, I had all A's right up until I got really into poker, and
Yeah.
then everything dropped. So I threw myself with like a pretty, I threw myself with intensity into poker, and I do think that part of why I am where I'm at is because I have an obsessive intensity and I really, really got into it
Hmm.
without balance. But then there
Right.
became a point in my life where like all my friends were poker friends and all poker people, like not all of them, but most of them, very, very like up here and not very like everyone's very just logical and distant from like not very emotional.
Hmm.
And yeah, my whole life was had that community in it and it's all I thought about and did and played, and it was just like my world got too small, right? And so I after I got I quit drinking and everything, I really worked towards having more balance in my life. But I did find that no matter what, like something suffers. If you're excelling in some things, one thing's going to suffer. So for a while, I excelled at improving in myself and doing community service kind of stuff, spiritual work, recovery work.
Hmm.
But my poker didn't suffer. Actually, I crushed, but like the amount of hours I could put in definitely suffered.
Yeah.
And um, right now, like yeah, I had balance. I would say for 5 or 6 years where I did mainly coaching. Then I played on the weekends. That was that, and that was it worked for me, and it built up a big thing. But now that I've got this Twitch streaming thing that's blowing up and all that, I'm back full force, not in it, right? And I also feel pressure to be able to compete because I'm going to try to play 100Ks and 25Ks and such. So
Yeah.
um, I'm right now I'm doing a few things. I'm working on my mental game. I'm playing poker. I'm studying poker, and I'm trying to work out and get in better shape. And that's pretty much it. Like
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
like so. The answer to the question, it's hard.
It is. I mean, I'm trying to find that out. Like, my poker's been suffering this month at least, which I guess like there could be worse things. Like I could be, doing worse. But I want to play poker, and I've only played like 3,000 hands this month of cash, which sucks for me. But I I'm fine with it because I've been of midterms. I've had midterms like the last 2 weeks or whatever. But
Mhm.
you know, doing all this like balancing school, trying to like have some friends around here, working on music or whatever, trying to find an internship for the summer, trying to play poker, and then like doing more stuff. It's just like, oh, I have too much going on right now, but I'm also young, so maybe I can like balance some of it. And I I'm fine with balancing like stuff to do. Like I like doing everything that I do, but I just would like there to be more hours in the day. Like I always joke with my friends like I wish I didn't have to sleep because I could be so much more productive if I didn't have to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're the kind of person that just puts has too much on their puts too much on their plate and then they eat it, and
Yeah.
you just do it. Uh, I'm actually kind of trying to move away from that.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was just talking with you about how I was spending all this time just like talking with people on Discord who were messaging me because of the BBC Discord and stuff,
Yeah.
and um, not that there's nothing against any of those people. It's just that that's like I can't get sucked into stuff like that, and so what I'm trying to do is streamline my hours, um, and also like really evaluating some. This may sound a little bit cold, but I evaluated some of my friendships too,
Mm.
and was like, um, I don't have time anymore. Like I like so I'm gonna like some of my friends who were negative in my life and who like were just not bringing out the best in me, like I dropped. For me, like though, I wouldn't just drop anyone who is like a good friend of mine, of course,
Right.
but um I did sort of like cut down how many friends I was like seeing and um again, it's hard to do that. I started thinking though, like, why am I maintaining these friendships with people that I don't really get much from when I have these people that I love in my life who I'm not giving enough attention to. So I just kind
Mm.
of narrowed down a little bit some of the people who I was really spending time with and talking to, and that helped a little bit.
That's very wise. That's something that I feel it sounds like something that's very tough to do. Like just personally, just thinking of that. Like I know I've got like a bunch of people who I'm friends with, but I don't see as much.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know kind of where you're coming from, I guess.
Yeah, it's just more like, um, yeah, just finding like where your time sucks are and trying to like
Hmm.
limit those. Also, some other stuff that I've been doing that's been working pretty well for me. Like on break, trying to do intense physical activity. That apparently gets you going. Um, okay, I do that like once every like 4 breaks, man.
It's
But
not like every break you're just going doing 50 push-ups before you got to get
no,
back to the
no,
tables.
but I do it though. I do it, and it's like it's a good idea to do like 2 minutes of intense, like just like running up and down the stairs, like or whatever, just push-ups.
Yeah.
Like I think that it's a good idea if you're playing tournament poker to do something like that to keep your brain activated. But yeah, if you learn how to figure out how to balance it all, just let me know because because I can't.
I will let everybody know because if I do, I think it's going to be nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah.
But I mean, time,
Mhm.
it's just like I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to figure out which path I'm going to go down. So the way I see it, like I need to try to explore like almost everything that's interesting me right now to
Mhm.
figure out what I'm really the most interested in. And
Mhm.
I started that out too, like with like my first semester of school. Like I had like so many different majors that I was interested in, like so many things I like studying. But now after I've gone through and like studied these things, I've realized, okay, there's some things I like, but I don't really want to study them or try to pursue a career in them professionally. So I'm just like, all right, I can study econ. I like econ, and I can probably get a good job or do something with that degree. And then I also like Bluegrass, and I'm gonna keep doing that to just have some fun and learn stuff too.
Mhm.
And then playing poker.
You sound to me though. You sound. Are you? Would you say, like, I know my type of person. What I am to some
Yeah.
degree is I'm a specialist, um, which is great for making money. I like. I get into one thing and I just go really, really, really deep into it. You though sound a little bit like a Renaissance man, which is actually something that I respect more than specialists because insects are specialists,
Yeah.
and so like I actually respect people that have a wide array of interests or things that they're like, they know a little bit about or that
Yeah.
they're pretty good at. But like I'm just like really good at one thing, and you sound more like a Renaissance man.
I don't I think what's the saying, like the Renaissance man is like a master of none or something like that. Uh
Hmm.
or a man of
You
all
want to be a
traits.
master.
A man of all traits is a master of none, something like that. And so I always like find that to be somewhat true, but at the same time, like I like doing a lot of different things. So yeah, I think I would consider myself maybe somewhat more of a Renaissance man than a specialist because I don't
Hmm.
think like the way I operate, like I can just do one thing day in, day out. It's like there's a lot of things that I like to dedicate time to. And I kind of agree with the idea of like being a Renaissance man, but I I'm not but I'm by far not fluent at like everything. Like there's definitely some things that I'm not all that good at. But yeah, I do like to spread my time across a lot of different things, and I don't really know if I could ever really be like a specialist, so to speak, where I'm really just like good at one thing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think that again, I think that's a more interesting way to be. My way like has made me money in my particular niche or whatever, but it
Yeah.
it's boring, right? I don't know, like that's why I don't really talk about a lot of other topics like on my Twitter or anything like that because I'm like I'm sure there's someone more educated on the subject they can follow. Like I like to read and I do.
Hmm.
I'm probably not giving myself enough credit. I do have a knowledge of a wide variety of things as well, but
Yeah.
I respect people that have more than just a basic knowledge of a lot of different things, who are actually like competent at a lot of different things. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Well, then, but there's also something to be said about being a specialist too, because you're somebody who, if somebody wants to talk to you about what you're a specialist in, being poker, like you can
Hmm.
talk to them and give them those kinds of answers. But if someone comes up to me and is asking me all sorts of questions about poker or music or economics, like I cannot give them all those answers. Like I can tell you, like if you know nothing about bluegrass music, like I can show you like how to play like a few chords on guitar, but I can't really like teach you like a lot of the theory because I'm still learning that myself. Same thing with poker. Like I can teach you like here, this is what a full house is, but I can't really teach like that kind of stuff. So I guess that's kind of the drawback of being a Renaissance man.
Oh, by the way, I also think that being the way that you are, which is, it sounds like you're curious about a bunch of different things and you enjoy the process of learning, which
Yeah.
is, I think that that's actually a really good thing. And I think that that's, um, in like, I'm still somewhat interested in psychology.
Hmm.
And there's this whole, there's a study, and I'm going to quote it all wrong, but
It's fine.
basically, there's two different ways of looking at things. Either you did something well on, let's say, like I did well on this test because I'm smart, or I did well on this test because I worked hard, right? And there are people who believe that like they can get things through working hard, or they believe they can get things through some inherent trait that they have, right?
Right.
Obviously, the one where you assign yourself like I'm smart or I'm not, like that that way of thinking is generally going to be unhelpful, right?
Hmm.
Anyhow, they did some study thing, and I forgot what the main results were, but the point I'm trying to those who have like the IQs were relatively equal, everything was equal. The main thing that was different is that the people who on the easy problems, I believe they had the same kind of answers, but on the harder ones, those who who had that other way of looking at things, the way of the process oriented way of looking at things, um, had a like solved a few more, not that much more than the other group,
Yeah.
but they also reported way more enjoyment. They took longer, and they did do better, but like not like super better. And yeah, that was a long ass ramble. Sorry, Pops.
No, it's
but
fine.
but yeah, I think that in general, the enjoying of learning is really cool. I sometimes don't. I actually don't like sucking at things. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not new at I haven't learned how to play PLO because I'm used to being very good at No Limit, and I hate being a beginner again.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and Stevie's like, you should, there's this learning curve. You learn really fast and it's fun. And I'm like, I don't like to suck. I don't like to not be good at this.
Yeah.
So I think it's better to be the way that you are, actually.
Thanks. I mean, yeah, I appreciate that, but I guess there's like mutual respect in both ways.
Poker
Yeah.
Ninjas, what's up?
Hey, poker ninjas. I see that out in the chat. Yeah, using your emotes. Your emotes are I'm just gonna go off on another thing. Your emotes are fun. I like them. Oh shoot, I think I need to resubscribe to your channel, but I changed my name recently on Twitch to this one, and I just gotta say I love your emotes. Like I love all that. They're so much fun. Like your whole community and everything. It's so much fun. Just to enjoy being on the stream and being in chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? That actually, even just talking about it gets me kind of excited because like I I didn't really want to stream, and sometimes I do kind of, I'm like, oh man, it's so exhausting. But I didn't expect what ended up happening, which was this amazing community came together.
Hmm.
And yeah, like yesterday, I wasn't running well, and my community kind of like talked me up, and uh, that's something I didn't really think about happening or whatever, when I was like, okay, I'll try this Twitch stuff. And it's been really cool to
Yeah.
experience that in this growing community. I was just bitching about like all the incoming communication, but the thing is, it's all really cool stuff, and people like for instance, people have sent me just like really cool stuff, like that little ape man
Yeah.
hanging there, and and I don't know, I just love the support that I get, and sometimes I actually feel like it makes me play better.
Yeah. No Crisis out in the chat says best streamer on the planet.
No crisis.
Yeah.
That's what-
No, it's a lot of fun. Like you see everybody out in the chats, like always really supportive. It's just like a positive community, and then you're out there, people are gifting subs, and then you'll gift like a bunch of subs too, and it's just one of those things that I never really saw on Twitch like that, and it's insane to watch, like that kind of stuff, and so much fun too because everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, see, I hadn't really watched unless I'm at a table with someone who I know streams. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna pull them up now and hear like see what they had. And but usually I didn't really watch Twitch streams because I have streamlined my poker to where I'm either playing or I'm studying, and I don't
Hmm.
watch it for entertainment that much just because I'm playing or studying so much. I just got to do something else.
Yeah.
Um, and so I didn't really watch Twitch. So when I started, I had no idea what I was supposed to do or anything. I just kind of was me, and so I think that's been kind of cool because it's developed this new community that's a little different than any other community that's been before. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a great time. I I saw part of your watching your channel is part of what kind of made me like make the jump to go stream because I was like I kind of want to like just develop a strong community like that. Like it would just be like a great time. Like I'm definitely not going to grow as quickly as you did because I just don't have the
Hmm.
name recognition. But it's just something that's like I can grow there, I can be there, and it's part of my you can't see it, but right behind me, where I'm pointing, I have this mission statement that I have up there that my teacher made us write in high school, which was my statement. What was it? My mission statement was to inspire, empower, and believe in people so they may live a life of peace and service to others. And it's kind of like always been but it's just like a really long way of saying like I just want to make other people happy so they can make other people happy as well. So I just kind of was like, this is one way that I can try to live out my mission statement.
Oh man, that's actually really beautiful because before I started streaming, I was talking to my friend Jess, who's a counselor,
Hmm.
and she works at a drug treatment center. And she deals with some pretty angry people and people in bad places in their lives. And she said that she just tries to respond to everything, no matter what, with love.
Hmm.
And I took that and I took that idea to streaming, and
Yeah.
I just try to bring peace. Like I just try to bring that kind of energy, and yeah, that works. So it's pretty cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been doing that. Like that's mainly the entire reason like why I make music and stuff like that is because
Hmm.
I like it makes me happy and it's like something that makes other people happy too because people love hearing songs. Then I was like, well, streaming's another way I can do that, and I'll try to stream myself play music and then myself playing poker and see what happens from there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like you said, you play guitar though. Like I'm honestly, I was thinking banjo. You
I
said
do. I
bluegrass.
play. No, I play guitar and banjo. I play
Okay,
both.
cool. Because
Yes.
I was disappointed when you said guitar. I wanted to like hear some
Yeah.
dueling banjos or something. So
Yeah, no,
but
my
mhm.
background on Twitch is just I think my profile picture is this flag that my friend Wesley made for me. It's just flag with a banjo on it. That it's I use it for, I'm also in this it's on this website called Learned League, which is like a trivia league. I also
Mhm.
love trivia. Like I just kind of like I know like a lot of weird facts going back to the I guess the Renaissance man thing. Like I just
That's
do
what I was
a
just
ton of
thinking, man.
things. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I love watching Jeopardy. I do that like, and so I kind of like I'm on this trivia league, and then everybody has a flag as a part of
Hmm.
their profile, and so I was like, I want to make a cool flag, and so my friend Wesley's an really good artist, digital artist, and I was like, hey, can you make me this flag? And he made me a really cool one, and now I'm just kind of like using that as like my brand logo.
Nice. Yeah. Actually, speaking of digital artists, you were mentioning my emotes.
Hmm.
I want to shout out to Lil Alien. Uh, and spelled it all weird though. LIL_AYLIEN. Oh man, I hope that's right. And then please hush is and then CMPSR on Twitter. Those are the guys who've made my graphics, and friends of mine that know me well, and uh like I the way it came together was really awesome.
Yeah.
Even just like these like everything wasn't really me. It was my friends like helping me create this brand, and that I've never really thought of as a brand anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. It was speaking of like the brand, is that the light behind you, the Apestyles light? Is that how long have you had that? Is that new, brand new with the stream, or is that kind of something
I
you
actually
haven't?
had it pre-stream. It was a gift. It was a gift.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it just worked out though. That's what I'm trying to say is that like
yeah.
everything kind of came together. And actually, the thing that you were talking about is something that I didn't expect to happen, which was I found like a lot of meaning in trying to put out um, just like helpful stuff about like how I deal with tilt, how I play poker, and
Hmm.
how I approach different spots. Um, I don't recommend in general people just like quitting their job or anything like that and starting poker. Like it's not a good idea at all. But it is nice to help to hear that I am helping people make more money
Yeah,
and do things too. So that aspect, all that stuff I didn't expect to come with Twitch, and it's making the the pain in the ass stuff, like all the additional work, is making it all worth it, right?
yeah.
So there's that too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's just some days where you're like not wanting to stream, but then like those messages probably are like just the things that like lift you back up or whatever. Or like,
Actually,
you're just like, I guess maybe that might have been the way it started, but maybe you've changed. I don't know.
well, yeah, I mean, like you don't always want to be observed, right? Like
Right.
sometimes I just kind of want to like um just chill in my bathrobe and play, like, not take a shower, whatever, and then but you can't. I don't feel like for my standards, like when I'm being watched by all that many people, like I don't want to be like super scrubby or anything. So,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I don't care that much about that kind of shit. But like, the point is that like it's not just that though. You can't or I can't fully relax sometimes knowing that I'm being observed. So, um, I can a little bit, but it definitely adds to the exhaustion of playing and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. I mean, I did my first poker stream on Sunday, and I just played. It was just like an evening stream, as like other, because everybody's streaming on Sunday. So I just said like I'll just go in the evening Eastern time because less people are streaming, and it's probably
hmm
gonna be better. And so I go like towards the end of my cash session, played
hmm
a stream for about like 2.5 hours or so, and I got done, and I was more tired than I have ever been just grinding cash regularly, or even
hmm
when I was grinding MTTs. Like it was just like a, a different level of exhaustion.
yeah, it hits me sometimes, and like the first time that it really hit me was because like my like the way it's gone for me has been kind of epic. Like the first time I played, I won a bounty builder for
Right.
35,000, and then like a couple weeks later, I get deep in an EPT 5K on one table, and then I got deep in another 5K uh, WPT, both at the same time on stream, and had like all of a sudden 5,000 people were watching me, and like it was a fast buildup, and it was over those days. I had thousands and thousands of people watching me over those days, and then I busted the 5K in ninth with Ace King, getting
Hmm.
like 90,000, which wasn't awful, but like first place was 1 million,
Yeah.
and like uh, it happened. It was whatever, and I kept playing the other tournament that I was in, and I busted that for 30,000. And oh man, after that, it was just like, oh. Then I got my new cat, and like I don't know, it was like too much. Like this actually sounds maybe kind of weird, but like when I got my new cat and all that happened, I wasn't sad or anything, but like I just started like crying, and I don't know why. It was just like, but I think it was just like exhaustion and everything all at once,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it can be like pretty intense, all of it, and you definitely have to build like a thick skin for sure. And I didn't used to have a very thick skin. I can be kind of sensitive. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I got the, what's that, high EQ. That's the psychology term, right? Is EQ psychology? Is that talking?
a little bit, like there's like it's all like the reason I don't think I would have existed in psychology because it started to bother me, some of the scholastic, some of
Yeah.
the scholarly journal stuff. Um, but yeah, I think it is something to some degree.
Yeah.
Uh, I do have that, but now, like, I just realized that if somebody's like on my rail and like spewing some hateful shit, sorry, pops. Um,
He's.
but
I think he's fine with swear words now. But
okay, cool. Just not you messing with your education. But yeah, I just realized that that's about them, not about me. And the way I kind of view it now is like, man, people are just like bringing in all this love, and I'm giving it back, and it's like awesome. And then someone tries to bring in some hate, and I'm like, oh, you got that hate? Like, you can keep that gift. Sorry, I'm not interested.
yeah.
So it's just like people are gonna come in with that kind of energy if they want, but I'm not gonna let that affect me. And I realize like when people are acting like that, that they're in a bad place in their life, and like it's all about reflection. It's all about their it's all about the way they view themselves, right?
Mhm.
So I feel bad for people like that.
Yeah.
Um, and when it comes to like talking smack, like really, in the end, I'm not watching you. You're watching me.
Right.
So like, I'm not like it's a little bit cocky, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember the one of the best moments in your stream was the classic "fuck your refund." Uh, that was like, I don't think it was like hateful interaction that was coming in through the chat. I don't remember, what did the guy just ask for a refund, and it was right after you busted like a
Right after I
25K.
bubbled the 25K, and you
Yeah.
made some joke about wanting a refund on his bundle, and I don't remember saying it, but apparently I said "fuck your refund," and, and,
That was hilarious. Maybe
and
like
it became a command.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was all the time exclamation mark refund.
yeah. Let's let them know about our refund policy.
Go
I
check
was
it out.
I was
Apestyles bundle, no refunds.
yeah. Um, that was kind of embarrassing, man. But like at the same time, like I like that, it turned into that, and
Yeah.
that day was hard, man. And I ended up sticking around in everything I was playing, and I ended up having to keep playing that whole day. That was one of the hardest days.
Mhm.
Busting that 25K after coming in, like knowing it was a huge mistake. Knowing when I heard there was a player with one big blind, like I was just like, oh, like,
Mm.
and then having to play like an 8-hour session after that or so, that was hard.
Yeah. I can
Um,
imagine. I can't. Actually, I can't imagine because I've never played a 25K. I mean, the highest MTT I think I've ever played is like a 1650 or whatever. I don't know, whatever like that stake is on ACR or whatever. I last Sunday I played MTTs. I just dusted every single one because I haven't played MTTs, and I hadn't played MTTs in a while. I studied like a little bit, but I went in. I was on Super Bowl Sunday. That was like the last ACR when they had like they started like their micro series. I went in. I just
mhm.
put like what I think it was like $100 or $200 on ACR, and I lost $175.
Oh.
It was funny. I mean, it's funny in retrospect, but like that day I was like, woof, that was not fun. But
No, but do you remember that like those? Well, I'm
I
not
mean,
I'm not encouraging someone who's in college to spend their money on gambling.
no, well,
I'm not necessarily recommending that. However, I did do that. That, like, and my mom doesn't get. Actually, she doesn't get too mad about it when I tell her now. But they gave me money for food, and I would put a little bit of that money for the food money and just eat ramen, and then just put the money towards poker.
mhm.
And my mom was like, "No, I'm really glad that you were investing in your future."
In retrospect, what? Oh, and I got
Maybe,
my
but
ramen over here.
I don't. Yeah, ramen. You know what? I can still eat some ramen. It's okay.
It's great.
Uh,
Have you ever
yeah.
had? My roommate and I, we found out the best ramen ever is the cheddar cheese ramen. Have you ever had that?
Cheddar cheese ramen?
It's amazing. If you
Okay.
ever get a
I
chance,
was trying to write it down. I'm
you
like, ooh, should I change
you gotta try it out. It's
my
like it is so it's our new like favorite ramen. We got like a whole
what
pallet of it.
brand?
It's Maruchan.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
it's
on
like the
that.
cup noodles. I think that's the only way we have it right now. But yeah, like the cup
Yeah.
noodle kind of Maruchan.
You know, it's funny though, because like I'm literally working with this like life coach guy who's like no processed foods. Now I'm having a great conversation about buying ramen in bulk with you.
Yeah, but I do not spend my parents' money on poker. Like it's I back to the Renaissance man thing. I also work another job. I'm a TA in at the art department of my school in the ceramics department.
Nice.
I do that and I work like 5 hours a week or so, make like a little bit of money, and that's like my spending money. And then like my
Hmm.
poker money is like I have a bankroll. Like I manage. I'm really nitty with my bankroll management, I guess.
Hmm. No,
And
that's good.
yeah, I just except for like that Sunday where I dusted off money, but I was playing within my means, like totally. It's like it, but I'm not like so my parents know I'm not spending all of your money on like high stakes cash games or whatever.
I wasn't doing that either. I mean, I was just like little bits, and then eventually I ran it up, and then I lost it, and then I ran it up, then I lost it. But
Yeah.
yeah, like the way you're going about it, which is the way that like a rational human being would go about things, which is like learning about bankroll management, learning about the game, not putting too much money in until you like actually know what you're doing to some degree,
Hmm.
and then like that's the kind of person that I would bet on being successful in poker. Again, I believe that I'm an outlier, um, because that's not exactly what I did until I found Chase. Actually, then he showed me how to be more methodical like that, and then but that's I think that you sound like someone that will have at least moderate success within poker because you seem like you're taking a measured approach, right? That's I just don't I hedge. I don't want to be like yeah you're just gonna crush it all, But like if you're I would take if I'm betting on somebody, I would bet on somebody like you for making money in the long run over someone like me. To be honest, like somebody who's um, like just all in, obsessed, just gambling. Like the way that I was very I I studied obsessively and I was really really into it, but I wasn't methodical in the very beginning, and only until I was taught how to be that way
Yeah.
um, could I be successful. Actually,
That's interesting. I never really thought about it like that. That having like this methodology to it is it's part of what's kind of like helpful because I always like
Mhm.
it makes a lot of sense hearing about it and just thinking through like all those different aspects of ways that I apply myself into it. But like I know I've always just like thought I just need to study
Mhm.
different spots, keep putting in the reps, and keep doing that. But like it's methodology is also like a large part of it.
That's it's
Hmm.
it's almost like the everything. It's that people that found some way to apply structure, community, all that stuff to poker is how people have people who have survived and made it as a living
Yeah.
did that. Um, the reason I don't recommend it to anyone as a living in general is that I was here like I said 17, 16 years ago, and no almost nobody's still around. The only person I can really think of that's like really no, he's not around anymore either. No, maybe Sir Watts, um, Timex, but yeah, like
Timex doesn't really play much anymore, does he?
nah, he
No.
didn't count, but
He's
he's
around.
found something else. Yeah, he's around.
I mean, hey,
Yeah,
but Bitcoin hit 60K today. I mean, like, phew.
I'm so upset. I'm like happy because I have one, but like, but not that happy because I used to have like a lot more. It was like 20 to 25, I think.
Yeah,
I don't remember how many I had, but like everyone's got their story. Mine's poker related.
yeah,
Like I was never really that big into Bitcoin. Like it was just a way of moving money for me. Um,
yeah,
I researched it, of course, to some degree, but mainly I just hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's all I really have ever done.
yeah,
Um, there's way more to it, like this DFI stuff and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know I don't know about it though.
I don't know enough about it to talk too much either.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got friends who are super, super wealthy from it, but not me. But I had like 20 or so Bitcoins. And then I went on a big downswing playing 25,000 buy-ins. Where on the upswing, I only had like 20% of myself or so. And I made like 2.4, 2.5 million in like a month playing them. And I made Stevie and Elio like a lot of money. And I was like, wait. This is too good of a spot. I'm going to take more of a piece. And I took like 60%. And between my backers at the time and my own money, and I just like freaking like went on a 1.5 million downswing and like put myself in a bad financial position.
Mm-hmm.
Sold all my Bitcoin at like 8K. I wasn't in such a position that I was like broke. I was just like I used to be sitting on piles. Like I was yeah. Uh, like it was a tenuous situation basically. Like I
Yeah.
like in the first one that I'd been in a long time. I have a history of doing stuff like that. So that's kind of what drove me to Twitch streaming actually too. Is um, not not the money situation. Like I'd actually already come up again from the 25Ks. I was on a big upswing and all that. It was that I had this product that I made, the Apestyles bundle for
Mm-hmm.
Max Value, and Max Value wasn't doing very well. And Jordan had this whole Twitch. He was like, "Man, you really had to Twitch stream. It's like all about Twitch streaming." And I started doing it, and
Yeah.
that product that I made that wasn't selling is now selling like like incredible, you know.
Yeah.
And with almost, we never really got it before because we got nothing but good feedback, you know. But it was that we didn't have a good marketing structure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed like a lot more with BBZ like lately too. Like it everywhere just from you. I mean, what Spraggy also huge streamer now studies with BBZ, and Easy with Aces also is another one that studies with y'all. I believe
Hmm.
that's, and then there's other BBZ streamers too that I am not aware of, and we could sit here and name them all, but I think that would take a long time. Check out BBZ's website. I think aren't they all listed on there?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
Anyone
go
you want
ahead.
to give a shout out to? Any
No,
streamer?
no, no. Oh yeah, like I did just get a pro deal with ACR, which
Yep.
is really cool. It's been like I've never had a check. Like uh, I went broke after university, and I delivered pizza for a little bit,
Hmm.
which I liked actually. Um, just drove around and made tips. It was fine.
Yeah.
Then the little bit I had, I would actually play poker in my car, stealing like someone's Wi-Fi. Um, um, and because I was still really just I needed to play, you know.
Yeah.
But I've never had a check, and like I really like the things that America's Carbon is that they're doing in general,
Hmm.
their approach to things, and then it's also like cool to be acknowledged and actually get a check just for doing what I already was doing, you know, just for streaming. So
Yeah. It seems
I
like,
mean,
well, I know the America's Cardroom. Yeah, they seem to be doing a lot of good things. Like I've liked like a lot of what's coming out, like all the new security measures that they're taking, putting in place and stuff.
mhm,
Everything too about like their marketing, the kind of tournaments that they're creating. Like,
mhm.
well, you said you played like the night schedule because they have a really good night schedule. Like it's like pretty high value, and they're the best tournaments probably offering from an American facing site
Yeah, see, I like the night
easily.
schedule. That's I actually pitched America's Card Room. Like I wasn't hearing from because there's like not like a huge audience. I'll tell like I wasn't hearing from anybody. I was like, I'm not hearing from Party. I'm not hearing from Stars. I wasn't hearing, and because I think that they want to see if you're around for a long time, what
Yeah.
happens if you're following all that. Like they wait a little bit before. And I noticed that I was down money on ACR, and then I liked their night schedule I could fit in their night schedule, still do my coaching stuff, all that. And I was like, okay, so I'm down money on ACR, and I got this American audience from when I used to play back in the day too, and they fit. It makes sense for me to work with them. And so I sent them a message, and I had this whole idea about how I wanted to do a challenge where I had to make 250,000 in a year
Hmm.
because I was down like 60,000. Um, and he didn't even care about my challenge. He was like, "Yeah, we want you. Yeah, we want you. I'll hit you back up in a couple of days." And they didn't care because Moneymaker was about to come out, right? And
Right.
they're like, they didn't want to like deal. They didn't want to do both, but he wanted to work with me. He just wanted it to be after Moneymakers. Like,
Yeah,
it would, that
that's
was the big
Moneymaker.
announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And it actually has turned out that the pro run good is kind of worked, like, not entirely, but I have been running good on the since I became a pro.
Yeah, yeah, I know you've had a few big scores lately. I think what you had one Sunday, like right after you became a pro, or is that maybe right before, where you had like you had three huge scores. I remember, right? It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was like I won the 200K on ACR for 50,000. I got third in a 5K on stars for 100,000, and then I won the 500 bounty builder for 10,000 on stars in the same day. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
All on stream too.
that's sick. It's super sick to see see people crushing on stream, especially like high stakes. Like it's just I don't know. For me, like I find it strange because I'll watch I'll watch any kind of poker content. Like I enjoy watching poker content. I like watching the high stakes stuff, and I also like watching people play like really low stakes tournaments and all that stuff. And even like I'll watch Pieface Poker. He plays like low stakes mixed games, which I don't play mixed games, but like I just have fun watching them. What do you think? Do you think like the money's like a huge factor in getting like an audience to have playing high stakes? Yeah.
100%. You're kind of different in that you are you're interested in the game for the sake of the game,
Right.
which also means that it's not dangerous for you. And other people are interested in sweating the money aspect and feeling the thrill of it, right?
Yeah.
The other thing though is not just that, but there is also, hey, I have this course that I'm selling. I got to approach the poker that I'm selling, and I believe in it so much that I'm willing to drop 25,000 on it. I'm willing to do, whatever to show you that I can compete at these stakes, and I have been for as long as I have.
Yeah.
I like financially, I should be better off than I am, to be honest. Like I have made 4 million from like in profit from tournaments long term if I had just played tournaments and I had not been backed in any situation, if I had never paid taxes, all that. That doesn't mean that I have 4 million in my accounts. Like I'm not even a millionaire at this point. But I'm an implied millionaire.
And that's all that matters, right? The pocket fives numbers. That's all that really matters.
No, implied odds in poker refers to like when you call to get money on later streets. I'm saying that I got implied odds.
Okay.
I think I'm almost there. but anyway, that but yeah, like this guy the other day was saying that was misleading, and I was like, no, I don't think it's misleading. The fact that I've had terrible like life decisions in some things might be helpful for some, but it doesn't make me less qualified to talk about poker.
Right.
Because poker is and tournament poker especially, I believe that I'm eminently qualified to talk about, because that's pretty much what I've studied for the last 17 years.
Yeah, and I think that's where poker can kind of like relate to business as well too. Like my dad's he runs a business, and it's one of those things where you really get out what you put into it. Like you think you have I mean, poker's obviously different because the variance is going to be higher than like making like some different business investments, but if you believe that you have a solid company, you've made the right investments for you, that's poker. And you are hoping that those investments will yield profits, and by the end of the year, and sometimes they won't. That's kind of like a risk you take, but it's just like you do have the implied odds, the implied millions coming in.
Yeah, the other thing too though is but I like what you like. It sounds like your dad has some the same mindset stuff that you need for poker, which is, oh, I made the right decision there. Oh, it didn't work out. That sucks. But
Yeah.
like, moving on. Like we'll keep making the right decision there,
Hmm.
as long as it's the right decision. When it's not the right decision, that's when I can like if when I make mistakes that are worth like a lot of money, that's when I can get in my head, right?
Yeah.
Because that I can control, but I can't control the cards or anything like that, right? So
Hmm.
um, yeah.
Yeah, poker's really helped. Like at least when I've been learning it, like it's kind of like helping me like streamline like my decision making, just like in life as a whole. Like as I've noticed, like I can like just kind of think more about what situations are like kind of like less in my control or whatever, or more in my control and less in my control. Like go
Mhm.
take a test. Like if I didn't study for it, like that's all on me. Like I guess I made a mistake there. But if I study really hard, like spend like so many hours doing like accounting problems, and I still get a bad grade and stuff, like okay, maybe there was something there. I'll go back and analyze all that. But I just gotta be
Mhm.
sound with all the decisions that I made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that that's cool too. And you actually made me think of something though.
Yeah.
Jordan taught me this. BBZ, like the guy. Um, he I don't know if he's a specialist or if he's both. He's everything. He like goes really deep, but he also does a lot of reading on. He's it's about money for him though, right?
Yeah.
Um, but he talked about how learning all these other models from different businesses are what actually helped him in poker, and a lot of the terminology that he uses came actually from his other the models that he applied in other forms of business. And so he's using, and I guess I did that to some extent too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I actually just cash game players were always ahead of tournament game players or tournament players. So I would always just watch cash game players
Yeah.
and talk to cash game players and apply the stuff that they were ahead with to my tournament game. That's actually part of what got me ahead of everybody in tournaments
Yeah.
was like that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. Even then too, like I do take some of those concepts like outside of poker and bring them back in. Like it's definitely a two-way street. Like even with music, like I've
Mhm.
studied music theory and all that, and I know like how it works. And but when I go, take a solo break on a song, I am not thinking about like the Dorian mode of G or whatever that I'm in, or playing like all of
Mhm.
that I'm like I know how it works to hit like the flat third note in the scale. Like I know how the theory works. Like and I've studied it a lot, and I've spent a lot of time like analyzing my guitar, like just hitting those notes like very slowly, and so I can kind of just like understand where I need to be at certain spots, and then like where where I have to go, like how how my range acts in different situations or whatever.
Hmm. That's interesting. Like to me, it almost sounded like you were almost talking a little bit about flow state too, which is something
Yeah,
that
somewhat.
or not really like
Uh,
because
no, go on. Go ahead. Say what you're saying. Yeah,
um
because
because
kind of, but
maybe
yeah.
you can re-describe what you're saying because that's like I wasn't 100%.
I think it is somewhat like flow state, but it's also just kind of like being comfortable with like execution, like having my thought process like really
Hmm.
fine tuned to where I know like what I'm doing. Like not necessarily just being in like the perfect flow state where I am not thinking about anything at all. Like I'm just executing, but I just like I know like all right, I'm playing a song in G. I know where I need to go in like the G major pentatonic scale or whatever. And same thing
Hmm.
with poker. Like I'm blind versus blind right now. I know what my ranges are. I know like what flops are better for my range, stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I guess I don't know if flow state's the right word. I've definitely like had maybe have had experiences with music and poker in a flow state though.
It's close. I mean, it's hard to really define like what it is exactly, but like for instance, to talk about what you were saying, yeah, like for instance, people are always like, "Oh man, you such balls to make that bluff."
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, I didn't want to make that bluff. I just thought that my combos wanted to do it, you know?
Hmm.
And like for me, it's really just okay. So these combos are doing this. Yeah, I guess I'm all in. Now, for some reason, I do have a bias towards aggression, especially in front of people. Like, there's a little bit of a show off
Yeah.
for streaming, um, but in general, it's not that. It's just me executing a game plan cold, not trying to
Right.
um, it's not about like, oh, I really want to win this pod or anything like that. It's just that, you
Yeah.
know. Um, And it does bridge into this idea of like a flow state.
Hmm.
Like I had this thing called a Muse headband. I have to go in a second, but
Okay.
I had a Muse headband for meditating that tells you if you're like concentrated slash like calm or if you're thinking. And I started trying different things with it because like I wasn't sure if it really worked, and then I was able to get like 90% calm state, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it when I'm playing poker. It's gonna go crazy when I'm playing poker, brain activity like crazy. No, mostly calm state,
Hmm.
um, and with peaks and a little bit of like, but like more than meditation would be for sure. But I realize that a lot of what I'm doing when I'm playing, I'm not actually thinking in words. It's subconscious a little bit too sometimes, and that's why for a lot of people it's hard to put what you're doing in words
Yeah.
because yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that and that has been part of the struggle of Twitch streaming though too is like how do I break from what I'm used to, which is my like flow state and like being super into it, to being like entertainer back to super into it. But that's been a challenge as well.
Yeah.
But I'm managing, I think, okay. But
Yeah.
it definitely is challenging.
For sure. Yeah. It's definitely a lot to manage all at once. Now you said you have to go. How much?
Pretty soon, yeah.
Pretty soon.
I'm like late for a meeting to be honest. So I
Okay.
have to, yeah.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and start wrapping things up. I guess I don't really have any closing questions that were on my mind. We've kind of touched on a lot of things, and it's been a really fun conversation. Yeah.
Check out No Crisis. He
Anything?
said, "Great interview, guys." Says, "I shall try to catch your streams blade as long as they don't clash with the man here."
I'll do my
Nice.
best. Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
I guess the only streams I'm really scheduled on, I'm like gonna just maybe do like late shift on Sundays, sometimes Tuesdays, podcast on Saturdays, and fiddle tune Fridays is what it's called. I'm doing fiddle tunes on guitar. That's fun.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Man,
that's what
you
they call
got
me.
a lot going on. That's really
Yeah,
cool though.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to make it all about me. It's because this is a podcast where I'm interviewing other people. But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, John.
Mhm.
It means a lot. And yeah, I've really appreciated like a lot of this conversation as a whole.
Hey, I had a good time,
Yeah,
and so hopefully this helped you and on your journey. I appreciate you, man,
yeah,
and thanks for your support.
yeah. No
And
problem.
yeah,
Thank
have a good
you.
day.
You too.
Yeah,
All right.
see you
Goodbye,
later.
everybody.